welcome again, my friends. 5 minutes with Sean, maybe 10. I am back in the interview seat again. I like it in the interview seat. It just frankly takes the pressure off the content guy. So it makes it easier, especially when you have unbelievable guests like I have today. You may or may not know this individual. If you know the name April Simmons, you have heard this name mentioned. I am joined today by what I like to call the SEO magician and April Simmons' right-hand guy, Dale Roddy. Dale, how are you, man?
Doing well today. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm wonderful, buddy. Thanks a lot for joining the show. I'm excited to have you on because we don't typically get super technical on this show. It's well, we'll get into what you found pre-show in the YouTube channel, but you know, we stay on the surface here. But we're going to get deep today in a topic that I think is imperative to dealers, and it is the concept of SEO. And I think that, as you know, we first learned about SEO, as from my perspective as a dealer, probably would have been, you could probably correct me, but probably 04-ish, when we thought it was really cool to have cars driving on our website and shit, and like going over mountains and making it snow. And then Google was like, but we don't like that, you know? And so I had to go tell the owner, like, hey, owner, Google's not a fan. What does he care about Google? He likes his, you know, mountains. So that was like, yeah, 03, 04, Dale. That's how long I've been dealing with dealership websites. Why don't you first give us a little bit of background on you in the SEO world? Because I know you go deeper into the tech world, Silicon Valley in the early days. So why don't we cover that first?
I spent the 90s, the 2000, early 2000s in Silicon Valley. And I got into SEO as a necessity. This was before Yahoo was even a thing. We had a thing called the Internet Directory. Demos was part of that. The Internet Directory was what showed your website. You would go to this like it's a phone book. And, you know, there weren't that many websites, but I was able to get us on there somehow. Then Yahoo became a thing. And I had to figure out how to get us onto Yahoo. And, you know, back then it was sending them an email to get onto Yahoo. They really didn't even have form fills yet. So, and then through the years, Ask Jeeves comes up, and then Google, of course, comes up, and then there's DuckDuckGo and all these other search engines, Bing included. And each one of them was doing it differently. So for us to get recognized, even in Silicon Valley, you know, you had to start learning the tricks to do this. And there were black hat tricks that we were doing that people never even knew about. Keyword stuffing, meaning I'm trying to be found for, let's just say, car parts. I'm going to put the word car parts 1,000 times on this web page. But
no
I'm
cohesion, right? Just not even sentences, just literally copy paste.
Car parts, whatever I'm looking to get found with.
Yeah.
You know, these were the early days.
Now, was that with Google, Dale? When the keyword stuffing, were they still in their early stages?
We were still doing some keyword stuffing with Google, but
they're the ones that put an end to it, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
They're the ones that really started going after the filters. Yahoo had started to, but Google started looking at intent, and that's always been their mantra, is to look at the intent. What does a web page look like? You talk about the flaming cars and all that other stuff on there. Back in the early 90s, when IBM was in the web space area, and one of the early commercials I remember was these flames on this website. Everybody's like, ooh, ah, it's beautiful, it's beautiful. And one guy walks by and says, yeah, but what does it do? What does this page do for us? And that, you know, that's really what I was trying to do. I'm not a graphics guy. I'm not a visual thinker, but it's one of those that the words on the page matter. Now, how do I get this past and still make it look good? Well, I make the background the same color as the font. So all those words are still in there. All that text was still in there. It was just hidden. You couldn't see it unless you highlighted the page, and then it all showed up. But yeah, from that to link farms and things like this. But you know, here's the car world now, many moons later, and I'm a car guy as well. I got burnout on technology. I opened a gun store. What's the toughest thing in business for me is sales, because I'm an introverted personality. Okay, I got to work on that in my life. So I went into car sales. And ultimately, they saw what I could do with internet. So I became an internet manager and kind of looking after their web page. And then I'm like, you know what, we're not being found. I'm going to go ahead and start doing SEO on our web page. But I stayed in the internet director role while I was doing that.
Dale, time me out here. Where are we at? Where are we at on the actual time? Were you talking like early 2000s? By now, 05, 06? Where are you at with that?
This would have been after the 08 crash. So I didn't get into cars until probably 2010.
Okay, so 2010, you're an internet manager who is seeing what's going on and decides, look, I need to do more with what we have. Like, happy to be an internet manager, but we're missing the boat here. I'm going to start doing what I do, doing what I've known to do. Okay. Yeah. All right. 2010.
I want to drive business. You know, I want to get my guys more calls. I want to be up there. You know, but me trying to explain what I do to the general manager of a dealership, the sales manager doesn't really care.
Nope.
You know, they just don't care. They want to move the metal. That's what we're taught, right? Move the metal.
Move them up.
Dreams and driveways, any other cliche one. If I ask 10 general managers today, in this day and age, if I ask 10 of them, what is SEO? I'm going to get, I got a guy, my website provider does it for me. It's that thing that gets us noticed. All right. And when you look at what they're paying for this service, for their guy per website, and when we look at, you know, our major website providers in our industry, they're paying anywhere from $14.99 to $29.99 a month for something they have no idea what they're getting, except a PowerPoint presentation at the end of the month that says you're performing well in these. And, you know, $29.99 a month for something that you're not getting noticed on. I can guarantee you, even if it's a used car that is so specific, a blue 1941 Honda Mustang, you're not going to get noticed for that. And you're wasting your freaking money, because Car Gurus, Cars.com, you know, you name them, the big guys, they're going to show up ahead of you. And unless, specifically with Google, intent is everything, unless it's in your backyard, you're not going to show up. It's all going to be long tail keywords. More than 5 words is what these guys are going to show you on your reports. And you're
let's jump into this though, because we are talking about reports. We are talking about stupid month-end meetings that should be emails that end up being an hour. Let's ask this though, from your perspective, what can a dealer do to audit what it's being told by someone who's their guy, or who they're paying, or who they have to use for their OEM? Like, what's a really quick, simple audit tool that Dale says, look here, and if this looks right, you might be on the right track?
Well, for the you know, I'll give you 4 quick steps here.
Okay.
To ask your SEO guy. Ask them today, even if you're still signed up with SEO, ask them this, okay? Why is your SEO better than anybody else? That'll tell you if they know anything about SEO. Whether you know anything about SEO or not, your BS detector is going to go off.
Yep.
Right. See, no profanity there, Sean. I didn't do it. I got the mouth of the sailor because I was one.
Very good. We are right now. We are not in violation of safe search. I am feeling better about this already. I don't know how long I can keep it up. I'm not a length guy, but geez.
No, I got a cuss jar sitting next to me.
I'm here.
I was a sailor and I got the mouth of one, and you know. So.
All right, that's number 1. What's number 2?
So number 2 is show me a domain name, national level, where you rank in the top 5. So I'm going to use one of mine. It's not one of my dealerships, but it is a parts store for my dealership. Kia.parts ranks number 1 in the world when somebody types in Kia parts. They're looking for Kia parts.
So much so that dealers believe it is the national link-in for their own SEO and backlinking opportunities, as has been recently showcased to us on the back end, correct?
Yes, and I did email that dealership in Wisconsin and let them know that no, we are not Kia. We are Horn Kia. We just have a Kia parts store. Kia USA is not located in Gilbert, Arizona. You know, so
And Dale, they're fans, not fans. I've always wondered that. I don't know if you and I have ever discussed this. I've known about it for a while now, but are they in favor of this, or are they like, we need to buy this and get this guy to stop this?
What I can tell you is that the reason this started is because Kia was pushing their own product. And it wasn't something that I was going to be able to SEO. And this is all pre-COVID now. You know, I wasn't going to be able to get the site like I know it's supposed to be. Realize, yes, I was the .com kid. I did come up in Silicon Valley. I worked for Amazon as well. I took them through, this is 2003, I think it was, took them through their first Christmas where they didn't have any downtime. When Amazon first started, they'd crash every year at Christmas. I went up and worked for them. I worked in their technical operations center as their manager. And yeah, we took them through. So, but anyway, yeah, so Kia Parks, number one, if, you know, what's the domain that's going to get you in that top 5 nationally, not locally.
Nationally. Got it. All right. What's number 3?
Show me a short tail search term where you rank in the top 5 nationally. And by short tail, what I mean is it's a 2-word term. So once again, Kia OEM, Kia Parts, things along that nature, I'm able to rank in the top 1 in the world. The next is going to be show me long tail search where you rank where you rank in the top 5 nationally.
So then long tail after that.
Long tail.
Okay.
So the long tail is going to be 5 words or more. If you type in Kia check engine light, we come up, Horn Kia, the Kia store, actually comes up number 1 in the world for Kia check engine light. That drives national traffic to my poor little store in Gilbert, Arizona.
Wow.
If they can't show you up front where you are actually ranking in those areas, they're going to be doing what every other SEO provider does, provide you 5 pages a month, which is absolutely nothing, of relevant content, but not expert content. So when you go to our Kia check engine light page, this started to rank nationally, which allowed me to then point over to our Kia.parts site, which gave us, here we go.
Look, I mean, we're here talking about it. I feel like it's an owed deal here. So Kia Parts, number 1. This looks like the OEM. Okay. There's nothing that does not look like the OEM there, dude.
Yep.
Unbelievable. So that was the short tail. The long tail was Kia check engine light, right?
Kia check engine light.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot here, Dale, but you know, and so Kia check engine light. Search me out, dude. Oh, look at that. Horn Kia.
Does that say sponsored? That doesn't say sponsored.
Oh, that doesn't say sponsored. No.
So that page right there was the beginning of it. And because it's got that ranking, and a lot of people type in Kia check engine light, add Kia check engine light code if you want to make it longer. It'll, and you can get into specific codes, those all come up.
There it is.
So those are your longer tail search terms.
I've already seen 2 different dealerships located here nationally, whatever.
Yeah.
But this is always number 1. So, folks, I think that just what I'm trying to do here is give a little validation. Like I said, you might not know Dale because he's a behind-the-scenes guy. He's making shit happen when everyone else is sleeping. All right, but the reality is this is what we're talking about. This is the quality of opportunity that if SEO is done right, with a lot of inspection and ongoing care with someone who knows, this is what can happen. All right, let's take that off. Let's move on.
Okay.
All right, so we have that. We have the top, you know, do we have number 5? You said 4 steps. You didn't say 5.
Number 4 steps. So those are the 4 important ones.
Those are the 4 that we need. So Dale, with your position, when you start to look at SEO from a dealership's, you know, point of view,
right,
what did you start to do to explain what you were doing to upper management? Because I think a lot of people still today, when you talk about internet managers, we give you 8 out of 10 different answers what SEO is, whatever that is. they would also give 8 out of 10 different explanations to their bosses about what it is. What were you saying and doing that got people to understand what you were doing?
So we had acquired a Mazda store, and this is when I joined the Horn organization. I had been working for one of the big, well, you know, I don't like slamming another dealership, but I call them the big evil. It was the Van Tile. You know, you make 1,000 phone calls and tell somebody buys and yada yada yada. But I'd been an internet director over there.
Yep.
I came to work with the Horns as a internet director. They hadn't had one. Well, they had one, but he hadn't worked out. And I was given a little bit of freedom based off of what my knowledge was. I was lucky to have a general manager there that understood that this is something that needed to be worked on, because we weren't being found. We were a new domain. We were a new dealership. It was at a Mazda point, and he came to me and says, "You're pretty smart. Do you understand analytics?" And I honestly, my eyes rolled to the back of my head, because I was just done with SEO. I was done with analytics. But here we go. It's important to them. Yeah, I understand a little bit of it. You know, I without going too deep into my background, I have dabbled in it a little.
So that's how. So what happens is people find out, right? They start saying, "Hey, you're the guy," and that's how good internet people are, right? I think that's how you end up being a Swiss Army knife. It's like, hey, you can deal with this. I remember people asked me to fix their computers. The fuck do I know about computers? I don't fix computers, Dale. But I'm the internet manager, so here I was, right, trying to be
exactly
put in that position. When did you make the jump from the big evil to the Horns? What year was that? You remember?
2017, I think. 2017, 2018.
2017, you make the jump over. You had a general manager that got it, which I think is crucial to a lot of people's success out there. If you don't feel like your GM gets it, you might want to go find one that does, because it's hard to get work done when they don't, especially when you're like you were ahead of the curve, right? And that's kind of what happens when you're out ahead of the curve, is you have to take time to explain it. Hope you get buy-in, right? So,
and the fun part is, you know, yes, I understand it, but now I got to have these changes made. So I have to deal with old school, and they've made strides in a huge way. I got to say this, dealer.com. I've got to get them to change my website the way that I need it changed for us to get noticed.
Well, that's before they got bought, though, probably, eh?
No,
that's not. Actually, 2017 would be after. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. No, that was my next question, though. What was that like? Trying to approach at the time, however many different web providers, to say, "I got this. Here's what I need you to do to the site."
Yeah. So I'm only working the one.
Out the notes.
Yeah, at this point, I'm only working the one, which is the Horn Mazda website.
Okay,
and
got it.
With that website, I've gone into it and I've made the adjustments, and I don't have access to do these things, because at that time the Horns were holding things so close to their chest. They've been screwed over by people messing with things, people that didn't know what they're doing, saying they knew what they were doing. So I'm kind of having to do this all behind their back, but I've at least got access to analytics so I can see what's going on. And unfortunately, my mother got ill after about a year of me being there. And this is Arizona. Mom lives in California. And I'm like, all right, so I'm going to put this packet together. I'm going to hand this off to my general sales manager. He's going to meet with Adam Horn, one of the principals, and a couple of the other principals. And this general sales manager took this up. This report that I did this is where we were. This is where we're at now as far as search traffic. And this is how much it didn't cost us. Because it didn't cost them anything to do. This was all organic traffic at this point. And organic was kicking paid traffic's butt. About an hour goes by. The principal comes down, Adam comes down and says, "Dale, can I talk to you real quick?" Uh-oh. Okay. Yeah, Adam, what can I do for you? You know, me getting all nervous and everything about it. And he says, he's got the report in his hand. He says, "Can you show me how you do this?" I'm like, "Adam, I've got 3 days left in the company. I just wanted to give that to y'all so you know what's going on, that this is doable. And he's like, yeah, but can you tell me what you did here? I can't teach 20 years of SEO in 3 days. You know, I could give you the high points of, you want your title to be this, you want your page meta, you know, I can give you the high points, but SEO is a job. It really is a job. I ended up going to California for a year, taking care of my mother. I went to work at another dealership up there. Ended up coming back to Arizona a year after that. But Adam and I had always kind of maintained contact, and I had still done some side work for the Horns as far as websites, and you know, I understood it well enough. April was working for the company at that time as well. And as you're aware, I've known her forever and a day. So this isn't our first rodeo. We know each other very well, and we help each other along the way. So
that you do. You two are the absolute perfect complement.
Yeah.
We're fortunate to work with a lot of people across the country, but there are few people who have positions that are as, you know, yin and yang as the two of you are to it all. It is really awesome. I know she's really excited for you to have done this today.
Well, you know, I like to be behind the scenes. I don't like to be. I'm, you know,
and to be
let
fair,
other people
I
talk
offered you
about it.
audio only. I did offer that to you. I said
I know.
that if that was amenable, because I did want to hear your.
If you would have seen what I looked like 10 minutes ago, or 10 minutes before we started this, I mean.
Hey, dude, why do you think I wear a hat? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I was wearing a ball cap too.
I love audio only podcasts. My first 50 shows were audio only, and I just sat down here with, you know, I could be t-shirtless. It wouldn't matter. I just sat here and recorded. So
exactly. Well, I'm not showing what's below the waist here right now because
neither am I. I mean, I work from home. You'd be lucky I have pants on. All right. So here's the thing. We are, you know, we're in a world now, right, where everyone is about the next, you know, the next iteration. But before we get into that, you just told me that you had recently done some digging in the YouTube SEO world. And you shared a story with me before this. So I'd like to end the first part of our little show here today, before we get into the second part of it, with your story about, I guess, my YouTube page, which is, you know, just, it's disheartening. And any recommendations you have, you could pass along to my team, and they should make those updates for sure, Dale. But why don't you tell us the genesis of what you were even looking at, or why you were looking at YouTube as a component of SEO?
I'm going to step back real quick for you though. One thing I want to talk about as far as SEO goes is, yes, our Kia parts store is number one. This is a completely separate, and this is for the general managers out there. This is for the parts managers out there. This is a completely separate revenue stream for a dealership that is untapped. Anybody else can do what I've done with this. All right. And I can't get into the exact numbers of how much revenue this is, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's substantially higher than an additional $250,000 a month to my parts department's bottom line. And when I say substantially higher, I mean substantially higher.
I think that's enough. I think that teases enough to me. I think the point that I like, that my takeaway here is that you just said, whatever you've done, anyone can replicate. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you just got to take the time and do it.
Okay.
You got to know what to do. It's there.
So here is someone who's dominated a page, who has substantial revenue coming in, and is willing to say out loud that you can copy the model and do it. But do you know why I think you're going to say it, Dale? Because you know no one's going to do a damn thing with whatever it is that you've shown them. And that's the problem that I have with a lot of people complaining about my website doesn't do this, my rev stream's not that. Okay, but what are you doing? How are you changing it? So you went out and changed it. You made this thing happen. I know the Kia, I don't know him personally, but I've been on meetings with the Kia general manager. That dude strikes me as someone who's not easy to please. He seems like he has the highest level of expectation of everything. That's how he got to be a top 5 Kia dealer in the fucking world. So I respect the hell out of it. But Dale, how did you even approach this with that group? Like, how did the Kia parts store even come to be as a rev stream?
Well, it was like I said, Kia was trying to do something with us, and frankly, they pissed me off. And you pissed me off, I'm going to take it personal. saying that, oh, you can't do that. Not that I can't do that, but there's no way I would ever have the #1 parts store. Oh, challenge accepted.
Yeah. So now that you can't do it legally, it's just you can't do what you
Right.
think you can do.
It's not possible.
Not possible. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the internet, people. Anything's possible.
Right? That's absolutely, yeah.
Anything is possible. All right. So the genesis of that is there. Kia Parts Store. Really recap this for us, people. Here's the thing. You can do it. Kia.parts. Go ahead. Look it over. Check it out. Go ahead. You won't. You should, but you won't, because most people just are complacent and they won't take advantage of the opportunity. How happy is Josh these days with the Kia.parts store there, Dale?
Well, we just set another revenue record last month. It continues to grow. I wish I could share those numbers. I really do. But it's one of those that
Nope, no need to it. You've already shared enough. The point is it's a separate revenue stream for a dealership. When everyone's worried about being a car rental place or a whatever it is, right? And here it is, the Kia Parts Store is what dominates the revenue.
Yep. We've had to redesign our parts department. We've had to hire additional staff. We've added, we've got containers out in our parking lot when we're already short on parking, because we need those parts to be able to turn them around in quick order. But the management has to be behind it. I've never met the parts manager. The guy that I do this for, I've never met him face to face.
You've never shook this dude's hand?
No.
Okay. I guess it don't. Well, for what? I don't. You know what I mean? What does it matter? You're the guy who's. I never met the person who faxed me internet leads either. Okay, so I just took the internet lead and I worked it. So I guess from that perspective, if you fill the coffer, whoever empties it. Why would they necessarily?
I couldn't be more proud of a team that I've never met. That's.
I mean, again, people, are you hearing this? Building a parts store that's gigantic revenue stream and doesn't even know the players involved, okay? Because you know what? It doesn't actually matter. Because Dale knows what Dale knows. They know what they know. And together, that's what I love about the Horn Automotive Group, if we could for 1 second, is that they really put people together who work together and get things done together. And that's not something you find every day. And it does come, in my opinion, from what I've seen, from the top down. And I think that's an important part of the discussion as well.
I'm really lucky to work for specifically, I work for Adam Horn. I'm an independent contractor at this point in my career. I have one contract that I work, and that is for the Horn Auto Group. Yeah. That's it. I don't live in Arizona anymore. I live in Alabama, and there's no telling where I'm at in the country from meeting to meeting. Yeah. I'm blessed in that sense, but I perform for my company because I respect my company. I respect my ownership team beyond belief, that they allow me to do this. And, and by saying this is live where I want, have the freedom to go where I want. As long as I'm doing my job, they're happy with me. I couldn't be luckier in the world. Now, with that being said, you and I both know I hate what I do. I'm burnt out on technology for the last 20 years. You don't work the .com game that long without getting burnt out on technology, and I did. So I hate what I do, but I love how I'm able to do it.
Well, we're going to get into something I think in the second half of the show that I think has become a passion driver for you. I think is going to be important to help with that burnout, in my opinion, and we'll get into those specifics. Close it out, though, going back to the YouTube piece, if you will.
Okay.
Give us why you were even interested in YouTube SEO to begin with, and then what you subsequently found via my wonderful page.
Well, what people don't understand is that when you're SEOing, it's not just a web page that you want SEO. If you're on Amazon, you want to SEO for Amazon. If you're on YouTube, you want to SEO your listings so you get higher rankings on YouTube. I'll give you a couple of examples. You were talking to a gentleman a couple of weeks ago, and the subject came up. You had brought the subject up of how your rankings have fallen. How early on you had this many views and later on you have this many views. And in the back of my mind, I'm going, all right, so I'm going to click a little button at the bottom of the YouTube screen here that says transcript. just transcript. And the mouth of the sailor that I got, this is the first meeting you and I have ever been in together where you haven't heard me drop an F-bomb. Because I know this is going on YouTube, right?
Yeah. And notice
By
I still
default,
don't care. And you told me about this before we started, and I still don't care. All right, go ahead.
By default, Google runs safe search. So they want something that kids can get to. They don't want to put this out there and offend a lot of people and yada, yada, yada. Well, safe search is also part of YouTube's algorithm. And you hit the little transcript button down at the bottom of this video that we're doing here on YouTube. You look off to the right, it'll bring up the little transcript screen of everything you and I are saying. And anytime somebody drops an F-bomb, there's a little line where that was at. It knows when you do it. It knows when you've been bad. It knows when you've been good. And yes, Google will absolutely demonetize people. They will punish your search engine rankings. They will make sure you show up where you're supposed to show up for a safe search. And when I went through, I counted 28 uses of the word either starts with an S or starts with an F in that specific video. So
28 cuss words in a 40-minute video, man. I've gotten ornery, I suppose. And
those are rookie numbers, brother. You got to up your game. Come on. You got to go big or go home.
Which is crazy because my early episodes were audio only. I remember myself just sitting in my office, just cussing my brains out. But it is interesting how the two are connected, right? And I don't think people give enough credence to the connection of that. And so it's something that's coming up now. So we're launching off into the other avenue of my passion and world. And I'm doing a cannabis podcast. And part of the conversations that have come up about it are, hey, what are you going to do to SEO your episodes? I don't know. Turns out there's an AI tool that will like just transcript it and then SEO it basically for me for like, hey, put this on YouTube, put this description here, put the description there. Okay, my team handles all that. I don't deal with that. But there's so many tools, Dale. There's so many next level things to start helping people between AI, between the next level of SEO. I know you have passion about it. So let's do this. Let's make it a two-parter. Let's end part one right here. Folks, you're going to come in next week. We're going to have part two for you, and we're going to get into the next level of SEO. Dale, thank you so much for joining me on week one, my friend. Friends, join us. As I said, next week, week two, Dale's going to get into the next generation of SEO, probably terms you've never heard before that you're going to come next week. All right? Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.